This packet is arranged in the order that we taught stuff, and not necessarily, the post-test is arranged by standard, okay? We had to lump them together by standard. So that means that some of the questions on this packet aren't tested till the next time we take the second half of the post-test. So like this one is on part 2. So I'm going to skip it today. Is everybody okay with that? If I do just the ones that align with tomorrow's part, okay? So I'm skipping down to number 4. Number 4 is on, how many of you still didn't find this? There's some extra copies up in front, I think. Okay. If I were to FOIL this all out, oh, it doesn't even ask. Okay. I thought this was a multiplicity question. It would be good review for a multiplicity question. Okay. This would be an x, this would be an x cubed, and there'd be a -2 out front. So you would have a -2x to the 4th. You'd have zeros at -5 and 3. This one would have multiplicity 3. End behavior would be both ends down. Okay, but that's not what this question asks. It says, use this function to find the exact value of f of 0. What are we doing? Yeah, put x equals 0. So -2, 0 plus 5, 0 minus 3 cubed. Anybody get an answer? I'm thinking 270. -3 cubed is -27, right? Times -10 would be positive 270. Anybody getting that? You guys are making me real nervous here because this is a huge part of your grade and my evaluation. So please be prepared to do well. Okay, has a local maximum point at to the nearest thousandth. Do we know how to find that without graphing? No. So we need to graph this. Find the maximum. -2 parenthesis x minus 5, guys, or plus? Guessed wrong. And then x minus 3, right? Cubed. Did I remember it right? Okay, if I do a zoom 6, I think I'm seeing all of the x-intercepts. So I'm going to go ahead and, because I have all the x's, I could do a zoom fit. I'm sure I'm not going to be very happy with it. A little hard to see where the maxes are, right? I hate that window. I'm going to do like -200 to 200 here. So I can at least see what it's doing. Oh, I still can't see the maximum. All right, nice try. What? All right, so that's kind of a crazy window. Did anybody eventually find the maximum? There is only one maximum because this was just a cubic shape. It just crossed there, didn't bounce. It's hard to tell in this window because but we need to find the maximum. Over there somewhere between, I'm going to say -5 and 0. -3, 864. Did anyone else get that? So it says to the nearest thousandth, but this rounds, or nearest hundredth, I mean, but this rounds, what was it? -3. Anybody? 864? Thank you. All right. Identify the x intervals where the function is increasing. Does anybody remember how this goes? If I put this on my screen here, increasing means going up as I go left to right, and all of this is going down. So how do I say x values where this is increasing? from the left until an x value of -3. And increasing and decreasing never uses square brackets. You remember that now? Okay, that one's on part 2. The next one that's on part 1 is 8. This one is asking about multiplicities. You could graph this, right? But the multiplicities come from the powers here. What is this? This means there's a 0 at. That plain old x out front is like an x minus 0, which means there's a 0 where? Yeah, it's 0 at 0, multiplicity 1, if you wanted to write it. You actually don't have to write that one. The multiplicity, because it's understood to be 1. What's this one? 2. And this guy back here? -8, multiplicity 3. Okay. So if we were to FOIL that all out, it would be kind of nasty, but we'd have an x to the what? This is an x cubed times an x would be an x to the 5th. If you graph it, what should be happening? It's going to have some loop-de-loops going on, but just like a cubic, left end down, right end up, because it doesn't have a negative out front. Okay, deep breath. We can do this. I don't even care what order you write it in, just so that it makes sense. We practiced it all year this way. Y first, x second. How do you say left? It does say it the other way here, so I don't care, but how do you say left? X approaches -infinity. And what is it doing on the left? Down, and how do I say down? Y approaches -infinity. Okay, how do I say right? For, right, the x-axis points to the right. Okay, y -infinity or positive infinity? What's it doing on the right? Which is positive infinity. Everybody okay? If you still don't get that, please see me. I would be glad to talk you through it a different way. Number 9. Anybody know what we need to do here? We can do synthetic division. It says you may ignore the remainder. That's nice. In the box goes -4, right? The 0 of this. Do we need any placeholders? Bring down the 1 times -4. Add is -10. Multiply is 40. Add is 44. Multiply is a big number. -176. Anybody? Did I do something wrong? Okay. Now, this is not an equation. There's no y equals anywhere. So the quotient polynomial is what? Yeah, this is the constant. This gets an x. This gets an x squared. So it'd be x squared minus 10x plus 44. If you had to do the remainder, it would have been plus -178 over x plus 4 for the remainder. But it doesn't ask, it says you can just write the quotient. Anybody lost? Gonna get that one right? Number 10, state the number of possible real zeros and turning points. Do you need to graph this? Do you need to do anything? This should be the easiest question on here. What is the degree? So the number of possible zeros, maximum number of possible zeros is? Number of turning points is? Everybody good? It's degree and degree minus 1. That's it. It doesn't mean there's 4 real zeros, but it says the number of possible real zeros. Equal to the degree. Everybody okay? Number 11, Says find the factored form and all the real zeros of this polynomial function. What do we need to do first? Or an x squared? Take out an x squared, then it will say what? Guys, on your quizzes, I was so sad. That last question on the first page, how many of you factored it wrong? Yeah, I mean, you got to the hardest question, the last part, and you factored it wrong. So just be careful. Watch your factoring. And this is not the time to make a little mistake like that. Because this final is not graded 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a point for everything, okay? So if you make a little mistake, I can't go, oh, that's an oops. It's just a point off. Okay, how do we factor this part? Factors that make -5 but add up to -4. So what are the real zeros? You happy? Because I'm not. Yeah, if x squared equals 0, there's a 0. It's actually multiplicity 2. You don't have to write that on this question, but it means it would do a bounce there, right? But it is a 0. Any question? Number 12 is on next Monday's part. Okay, number 13. Oh my goodness, this should be such an easy question. Anybody remember what we're supposed to do here? Some of you are just shaking your head. Nope, no clue. Nobody remembers? Nolan. Yes. Does anybody get it a little better? Factors of what? And the constant. Which one goes on top? The constant. And then on the bottom is the leading coefficient. And then you have to write it out still. So what are the factors of 4? 1, 2, and 4? 2 and 3? Did you really just say? Okay, I thought you said 2 and 3. I was all right. And the factors of 3 in the denominator are just, okay. You have to write out what that means, and don't forget your plus or minus. So if we put 1 over 1, we get 1. If we put 1 over 3, you can do it any order you want. Okay, 2 over 1, 2 over 3, 4 over 1, and 4 over 3. You definitely could have put them all over 1 first. You could have gone 1, 2, 4, and then gone back and put them over 3. I don't care. Any questions? It's the same list, right? You gonna get that one right, guys? Shouldn't be hard. Yes. Everything we have from here on out is part of your final. Okay? Good question. Number 14. So there's a total of 90, some points still to come. 97 maybe? I can't remember. All right. And it's just lumped together. It's 20% of your grade. Use a graph and division to confirm which of the above are actual roots. I think this is wrong. It's supposed to be the one right above it, right? All right, so what do we have to do this? Use a graph and division. So we need to graph. Someone read it to me, please. 3x to the third, right arrow. Then what? Plus x squared. Okay. Minus 12x minus 4. Okay. I'm going to start with a zoom 6 again. I think this is a good window because I can see the zeros, right? I'm not going to worry too much about it. What do you want to do? What do you want to try? You got to prove it. Trace is what? What do you want me to type? 2? That works? What else do you think works? -2, maybe? We actually only need 1 because it's a cubic. Okay. So we think positive and -2 work. And I'm going to wait and find this other one after we divide. All right. So what do you want to divide first? It doesn't matter. Okay. Then we put the coefficients, 3, 1, -12, -4. Bring down the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Added to 1 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Plus -12 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Has to come out as 0 or we did something wrong, right? Okay. We could actually just factor this now if we wanted. If you want to go ahead and divide -2, you have to do it consecutively, remember? So you bring down the 3. -2 times 3 is -6. Add is 1. Multiply is -2. Add is 0. Okay. What's the factored form of this then? 3x plus 1, x minus 2, and x plus 2, right? In whatever order you want. Don't lose that 3, guys, remember, because this has to FOIL back to this up here. All right. So what was the third 0? -1/3. All right, explanation. There's several problems here where you have to write an explanation to get full credit. How did you confirm each root? Okay. You can say synthetic division, or you could say successive synthetic division. I'm not going to be that picky. What had to be true for you to confirm it was a root? Yeah, with no remainder. If you just say successive or synthetic division, I'll be fine. I don't remember if that's the one I got some funny answers because people couldn't remember the right words for it. It's fine. All right. Find equation of all the vertical asymptotes of this rational function where they exist. You will have a sheet that has all these rules. Do you remember the rules? I think your card was yellow. Okay. How do you do these rational function things? What is the first thing the card said? Anybody remember? Factor. Factor. Does this factor? None of it? The bottom factors, 3x squared, x plus 1, x minus 1. This wants only vertical asymptotes. Does anybody remember what the rule was for vertical asymptotes? No, that's a whole. Where are the undefined places going to be? You should know this because you should know from domain from the beginning of the year. What'd you say? Yes, the denominator. What are the values the denominator cannot equal? So there's going to be a vertical asymptote at what equation? That's all. And you will have the card. Okay. Any questions? All right. This one says, using the appropriate rule of end behavior for the rational function, explain how to find its end behavior and then accurately find this equation. All right. Is this top heavy, bottom heavy, or equal weight? So that's what it says explanation using those end behavior rules. So you're going to write it's top heavy. So, and the sheet says no horizontal asymptote. Are we done? Do we just write none? Some of you remember, what do we have to do? It says But there is a oblique by finding how, or end behavior. You don't have to write all that. You can just say no horizontal asymptote, but whatever you find. Okay, we have to divide. Oh, what do we have to do? We can use synthetic. I'm okay with that, but what happens? Yeah, there's a 0x in there. So you'd have 4, -3, 0, and 4. Does anybody remember what else it says about it's y equals, this is, okay, end behavior equation. And it says y equals quotient, ignoring remainder, okay? You don't have to write all that. I'm just trying to remind you what it says because a bunch of you look like you've lost your cards. Okay, bring this down. 4, -12, add is -15, multiply is 45, add is 45, multiply is, I don't know, 15, -135, add is -131. I don't know. Did I do that right? Anybody? Okay. What is the end behavior equation that I end up with then? Anybody gonna fix me? What does equation mean? This is an equation of a parabola that this would approximate. The graph probably looks like a parabola, except there's some little undefined place at -3, which makes no sense for the way I've drawn the graph. Sorry. Okay, yep, that's a hot mess. Thought I had the eraser. Any questions on that one? I probably have an extra practice on that at the end of the packet, but otherwise, I ran extras so that people who wanted to go home tonight and redo this packet could do that. They're mostly gone, but you can take whatever's up here because I'll go run some more next hour so that I have them for later in the day, or you can stop in at the end of the day if there aren't enough. But some of you, it would be great to go home and redo the ones we did tonight and make sure you got it. All right. Anybody remember how to do this? It's factored. And yes, on the quiz when this was factored, some of you foiled it back together first and then you factored it wrong. It's factored. Where are the critical values? If we graphed this, it would, at -5 and +1/2, right? Have zeros. It would be a parabola doing this. Okay. What we did in class was we said -5 and 1/2 are critical values. Where is it greater than 0? Well, we tested something in here and it turned out negative and it was positive here and here. Can you tell that from the graph? To the left, it was positive in between. So where do we say this? Oh my goodness. Please tell me you know greater than from less than. That's an L, like a less than, okay? This is a greater than. So where is it greater than 0? How about interval values? Okay, it does say or equal to, so we need what? A U and square brackets. Okay, maybe we should practice that one again at the end of the hour? Yeah. Okay. Remind me, put a little star by 17 in case I don't. Whatever the last one was too. Everybody okay? Did I need to? Got it? Okay. 17. So we just did that one, didn't we? Yeah. I must have had a separate slide. Okay. The next one that's on number 1 is 24. The whole first page of the summative tomorrow is matrices and systems. Some of you did fantastic, but if you got something wrong, it's on the final tomorrow. So ask about it, okay? Can you do a 4 by 5 times a 5 by 1? Why? What has to be the same? Yeah, this is rows, columns, rows, columns. So the columns from the first one have to equal the rows from the second one. Okay, so it's yes. Then the answer matrix will always be whatever these guys are, right? So it will be a 4 by 1. Questions? Tara, we good? Better? So give me an example of what wouldn't work, somebody. 4 by 6, 7 by 4. In this order, it doesn't work, right? Because these aren't the same. If I switched it around and said I'm going to put matrix B first, then it would work because these would be the same. That would be a yes. And the answer would be a 7 by 6. Better? Okay. Anybody else? All right. Do you remember this from yesterday? Substitution? Okay, is it going to matter which we put in this time, the x or the y? No, because you're going to have to square it either. Actually, it might be nicer to do the x because we wouldn't have to worry about the 2, but I don't care. I would have probably done it anyway because I probably would have added the y over here. Anybody think that's okay? Then I'm going to put that in here. So it's going to say y plus 6 quantity squared plus 2y squared equals 27. All right. And someone's going to write y squared plus 36. If I've taught you one thing this semester, I hope it's that. Y squared plus 6y plus another 6y plus 36 plus 2y squared equals 27. Then what? Do what? Oh, combine like terms? Is that what you said? 3y squared plus 12y plus 36 equals 27. Can I factor right now? Got to equal 0 first. So if I subtract 27, what do I get? Plus 9 equals 0, right? Okay. Ideas? Some of you start factoring here, and then you kind of get messed up because it's really hard to find this stuff. If you just take out a 3, does this become a much easier factoring problem? Yeah. Y plus 3, y plus 1. Okay. Is 3 a 0? I got people still telling me that 3 can equal 0. Okay, this is gone. If I divide by 3, it doesn't work. But y could equal, if I set that one equal to 0, I have y equals negative 3. If I set this one equal to 0, I have y equals negative 1. Guys, that means there's at least two, ordered pairs where y is negative 3 and x is negative 1, separate. Okay? Now, if I plug them back in here, what's negative 3 plus 6 going to give me? Okay, those go together. They only work together. If y is negative 1 plus 6 would give me 5. Now I could test them here. This would be 9 plus 9 twice is 18. 9 plus 18 is 27. It works. This would be 25 plus 1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. 25 plus 2 is 27. It works in both, okay? We good? You need more practice? You know where to find it because it was just on the last quiz, right? All right. Initial inventory. That means this is what we started with. The delivery matrix for shipment of supplies to an army base. Okay, this shipment came in to the army base. I guess I should use the word in. I don't know. I still got people subtracting. If it came in, what is our updated inventory? Just add them together. I don't know what that adds to. Somebody help me. 134? Yeah. Is the rest of it right? Okay. Someone want to shut that? You could turn the light off by the phone call button too. It's a little late in the hour, but at least you could see a little better, some of you. If we're going to mark it up an additional 12%, so additional, not subtracting, and we're not multiplying by 0.12, what are we multiplying by? Okay, we're going to keep all of the price plus 12%. Whoops. So it's 1.12. And it's money. Please round appropriately. Can someone tell me what 3.28 times 1.12? What is it? 367. And then this one would be 560. And if you just put in 5.6, it's fine. What's the next one? 10.07. Did someone else get those numbers? You're multiplying, guys. 1.12 times 3.28. 5 times 1.12. Okay, no, nothing like writing them in backwards order and making you confused. Sorry. Everybody all right? Write one way and one the other just to confuse you. All right. This again says create just like you did yesterday. You just have a giant matrix that should have what across the top? Somebody quick. Then 4 to, that's supposed to be a W. Is yours fixed? Okay, it's supposed to be a W. I'm not tricking you. Okay. 0, -3, and 17. It's fixed on the quiz. I'm not trying to trick you. 2, 0 Y's, -4Z, and 1 W, -6. And 1, 7, -1, 0, and +6. Are we good? Any questions on that? If you missed that question on the quiz, I just kind of want to cry for you. Okay, 29. Most of you were good at this. What are we doing here? What's the trick? The trick is this middle one has to be X, Y, Z. So we had 1, 3, -1, 3, -1, 1, 4, 1, -2, and the answer matrix was 10, 8, 23. I got to tell you, when I go to do this on the quiz to save myself time and effort, when I actually type it in, because Hofbauer's not going to know the difference. Oop, that's a 1. I am going to type it in and do RREF, as I'm saving myself some time. I hate typing these things in, especially on this stupid thing. Can anybody read it to me? That's not an 8. Okay. All right, then I quit. I go back into matrix. I go over to math. I go up to RREF, and I put the name of the matrix that I just stored those all in. And it tells me x equals 4, y equals 1, z equals -3. Are we good? 4, 1, -3. You could also use the inverse. Are we good? Number 30, the row echelon form of a matrix is given. Decide if it has no solutions, a single solution, or many solutions. If many solutions, use a single variable. Okay, what does this have? Because of this row of zeros. Many solutions. Now, I will tell you, because 0 can equal 0, right? I think this is actually a multiple choice question to try to make it a little bit easier. But you have to pick the one that has what? How are the variables rewritten? What does that first equation say? Guys, a whole bunch of you missed this. X plus 4z equals -9. That's -9. Y plus 7. Oh my gosh, let me just try again, half hour. Okay, x plus 4z equals -9. The second equation is y plus 7z equals 3. So since they're both in terms of z, we're going to write z can equal any number. How do you want something that's y right here, but it can only have a z in it. So you have to get the y by itself. So you'd have what? Or 3 minus 7z. Either one is fine. Or if it's multiple choice, you have to know which choice it is. Okay, and then you can't use anything but a z here. So if you get the x by itself, you'll have -9 minus 4z or -4z minus 9. It doesn't matter. Any questions? Please practice that. All right. Oh, that's it. Okay, here's some no? Yes? Are we? Okay. This is extra practice. I'm going to keep recording because you don't have these, so this will be your only chance. I'll put the slides in if you want to look at these, but if it wants to know where this is less than 0, what are we looking for? Okay, critical values would be -3 and 5, right? If we graphed it, it would be a parabola opening up. So where is it negative? Okay, and it's positive out here. So how do we write this? Less than 0. We good? Okay, what else did I promise I would practice?
Number 7.
Which was what? What? The one I was just on?
Number 6.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I have one like that. I do have some systems. Okay, let's go through these real quick. Equal weight, top heavy, bottom heavy. Equal weight, so it's y equals leading coefficient over leading coefficient. So you'd write y equals 4/3. Okay, I wrote the explanation too there. This one is what? Yeah, go ahead. This one? No, it's the degree that determines whether it's bottom heavy or top heavy, and this is a degree 2 over degree 2. Okay? This is top heavy, so top heavy says you do what? You divide, and it's y equals the quotient. Okay? So -1, 1, -5, 6. Bring down the 1, multiply, add. Then what's the answer? That's the remainder. Y equals x minus 6. And this guy? bottom heavy, so the answer is, anybody remember? Y equals 0, yes. All right. Anything else in particular you wanted me to go over? I'll flash back through them here. System. Finding the zeros in multiplicity. Increasing and decreasing. Factor, divide and find the zeros. List the possible zeros. Nothing? Okay. Well, I think I will go through and do these so that they're on the slides. You guys know I post those, right? The slides, so that in the Google Classroom, below my video are the slides, and it's a PDF of all the worked out slides. So if I do these today and post them with the slides, you can go back and look at the extra practice if you want. Otherwise, take an extra copy of the packet and